Neuroplasticity, how to sever negative traction.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to today's deep dive. Today, we are dissecting a concept heavily commercialized and misunderstood in modern success psychology, the law of attraction. If you have spent endless hours visualizing and chasing vibrational alignments only to end up more anxious and confused, it's not your fault. 90% of what is taught out there is flawed pseudoscience. It operates much like mainstream AI platforms today, blowing things out of proportion to present an illusion of flawless truth. But the moment you look behind the peacock's display, the structural flaws are completely exposed. The ancients remarked, "Loquacity breeds error." Today, we execute a single counter-strike into its underlying mechanism, using hard science alongside the ancient reality of cause and effect. I will decode the absolute truth behind the law of attraction. Part E. Wave-particle duality and primal awareness. To master the mechanics of attraction, we must look at quantum mechanics, wave-particle duality and the observer effect. Why do microscopic particles exist as boundless waves when unmonitored, yet instantly collapse into solid particles the exact millisecond an observer looks at them? The answer is profound. It simultaneously embodies both physical matter and spiritual awareness. The particle possessed this dual nature inherently from the start. Even as a wave, it already possessed primal awareness, otherwise, it couldn't register the presence of the quantum observer. Therefore, every physical object in our universe holds a baseline of primal awareness. Why, then, do some particles become inert wood or solid stones? Because they refused to exert their cognitive function. Through prolonged dormancy, they degenerated. Habit dictates physical form. As Chapter R of the Shurangama Sutra states, though darkness became emptiness, within that empty obscurity, darkness coalesced to form matter. Matter became entangled with delusional thoughts, and the structural configuration of these thoughts solidified into the physical body. This charts the precise assembly line of attraction. Your first thought cascades into a second, creating a chain reaction of conceptual fabrication. This active fabrication forces wave functions to collapse into physical consequences. Those who abandon conscious awareness effectively hardcode themselves into a restricted, rigid material form. Part R. You are not attracting karma, you are becoming karma. Let us give the law of attraction its true definition. It is quite literally an unyielding, hard-coded karma matrix. What you actively fabricate within your mind is exactly what you receive. You are generating an unyielding traction that forces you to become the very karma you project. Mainstream culture assumes that attraction only occurs with positive desires. Completely wrong. Whether your mind engages in toxic craving or bitter aversion, the very millisecond your thoughts stir, the gravitational traction is instantaneously hard-coded. Your focus is your attraction force. Whatever object you lock your eyes onto becomes where your thought waves intersect and solidify into reality. If you spend your days obsessing over the faults of others, you are vacuuming the most degraded karmic pollution into your own consciousness, turning your mind into a contaminated septic tank. In the Sutra of 100 Karmas, a nun habitually insulted others by calling them female dogs. Her target didn't change, but due to the dense traction of her verbal karma, she herself was reborn as a dog for hundreds of consecutive lifetimes. Think of this analogy. If you hurl a stone at a dog, the dog will sprint frantically to bite the rock itself, not the thrower. It believes the rock is the source of its pain. Humans reacting to fame, status, or criticism are rarely any smarter. External conditions are passive. It is you who chooses to lock your jaws onto them and drag yourself into a spiral of suffering. Part 3. The Executive Merit Auction. This brings us to a profound cognitive error, the auctioning away of our storehouses of merit. In our material lives, we balance our accounts down to the single penny, yet on the ledger of our consciousness, we behave like reckless spendthrifts. The profound merit you have accumulated across consecutive lifetimes as massive as Mount Meru. When you do a good deed and immediately rush to show off, the exact measure of your display is the exact speed at which your spiritual capital is discarded. Even worse, You trade an invaluable spiritual asset to purchase a chest full of raw rage such as the jealousy, criticism, or sarcasm of others. We see this when those in authority abruptly assert their status. I am the leader here. Watch how I teach you a lesson. You weaponize a sacred identity to vent a momentary psychological irritation. The return on investment. You secure an ongoing legacy of contempt and single-handedly dismantle your network of support. Left unsupervised. Our ego acts as a highly efficient auctioneer of our own fortune. Part 4. The Neurorewiring Framework. Acknowledging that we haven't consciously hard-coded these rigid habits in our past. How do we break the chain? Superficial verbal repentance does not work. Genuine repentance demands an absolute physical cessation of the unwholesome act, paired with a radical rewiring of your neural framework. Our old habits of hunting for false and showing off now run with effortless automaticity. We must completely abandon this degraded system and cultivate a pristine alternative, a neural pathway dedicated to rejoicing in the merit of others. Redirection of focus. Train your focus to lock onto the virtues and achievements of everyone around you like a sponge drawing in water. The more frequently you run this protocol, the faster the constructive karma matrix solidifies within your own consciousness. Strict dietary isolation. The rule of fasting. When a new neural network begins to map its paths, it is as delicate as a newborn seedling. You must strictly eliminate refined carbohydrates, such as white rice, white flour, and processed sugars. Modern neurological research confirms that highly refined carbohydrates trigger systemic inflammation that directly corrodes newly forming neural connections before they can mature. Consider advanced Alzheimer's patients. They may lose the capacity to recognize their own children, yet can recount early childhood memories with pristine clarity. This is because damage occurs from the outside in. The newly constructed, less resilient pathways disintegrate first, while the dense, core neural highways built during use remain intact. Spiritual cultivation is a process of structural thickening. You must fortify your constructive neural architecture until it becomes an unshakable highway, allowing wisdom and grace to flow automatically without active effort. Conclusion. What world will you project? The law of attraction is the definitive operational protocol of the true karma matrix. When you embody genuine reverence, you command the reverence of the world. When you consistently celebrate the virtues of others, you seamlessly draw the supreme merit and fortune of the universe directly into your own consciousness. Stop acting like the reactive animal that chases down the rocks thrown at it. Stop adding weight to the obstacles cluttering your path. From this exact millisecond forward, place your body, speech, and mind under sovereign surveillance. Turn your internal recording mechanism completely around. Focus your entire awareness onto the very next thought about to arise in your head. Are you going to utilize it to liquidate your sacred marriage, or deploy it to initiate the supreme path of neural reconstruction, organized based on classical behavioral records, proudly shared by the Buddha Activity Association of Australia? We look forward to exploring deeper insights next time. Bye-bye.